welcome to an Utter War Plus One episode. I'm here today with Rowan and myself, Nick, and we're going to be playing out the matchup Aggro Prism versus Warrior.
Yes. Yeah, two very aggressive builds, one against another. We have had... I've had some fun playing this matchup before. Nick has had less fun playing this matchup before.
I think it does need to be shown that, these matches aren't clear-cut.
Yep.
And that there is some, things in the background that changes the flow of the game.
Yeah,
whereas
definitely.
Other decks would struggle against this.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about our sideboard. Do you want to go for yours first?
Yeah, so my sideboard for this is basically my goal going into Prism is to push through as much damage as possible. I want to be threatening 9 to 12 damage every turn and doing 9 to 12 damage every turn going into an aggro build just because they don't want to block, I don't want to block.
And I'm averaging out about 12 damage a turn.
Exactly. So I kind of want to be going toe-to-toe with Prism up until the point where I can block out a turn or stop a turn and they can't pivot on that line the same way I can. So my sideboard for this one is my red and blue Steelblade Shunts, just because I don't want to be blocking. I don't want one of those at hand where I want to have an aggressive card in hand. So those are coming out. I'm keeping in the yellows just because Prism, Nick's Prism especially, I already know runs a library, and Steelblade Shunts give me the opportunity to pop that either to actually meet the criteria of gaining the intellect or just discarding them and destroying it, which I don't want Nick to have a library for more than a turn if needed, and I don't run a lot of yellows, so Steelblade Shunt needs to stay in. I'm also just taking out the energy pot just because I'm not anticipating having many turns where I would rather play it than pitch it, and if that's the case, I don't really want a card that's only in there for pitching, so that's coming out as well. I'm also just taking out the Remembrance. Even though they're yellow and even though they're in there to hit upon my Nourishing Emptiness and just cycle back in some other cards, I don't think the game's going to go long enough for those to actually come in useful, and I just don't want them to again clog up a hand that could be used other places. At least the Steelblade Shunt, I can use it against a big Herald turn if I need to as well. And then Sigil of Solace is coming out because I'm aiming to be aggressive. Don't want that dead card in hand, even though I love Sigil of Solace. Anyone who's watched my podcast knows Sigil of Solace is like my baby, but chucking the baby out for this match, it's just not necessary. Yeah.
I'm playing the standard fridge. Will you be choosing Courage or Tunic?
Yeah, I'm playing Courage in this match just because that enables... So for my equipment, I'm running the Skull Cap against the Hood just because I don't care about any arcane damage that might come through. It might be 5 damage or so over the course of the game, but that's unlikely to come through at a time where it's actually going to make a difference. So the Hood is out, and then I want the Courage of Bladehold to enable me to block out the Herald of Erudition. That's basically the only Herald I care about in Nick's deck. So Courage of Bladehold is in there to catch that Herald, basically, and then enable my pop-off turn as well. So, yeah.
Alright, so on this side, we'll start with the equipment because it's the easiest. You only play 5 pieces of equipment, and the only one that comes out is your Noah and Hood, because there's no arcane.
I'm definitely running arcane, yeah.
Luminaris weapon again. We're an aggro build, so we want to be able to have go again on our attacks. We're not too worried about her popping our attacks because she only has 1 Nourishing Emptiness. She's either blocking or letting it hit. I have opted to play 3 Fate, 3 Sync because I want to try out if I can slow down and turn around the game once I get Library and be able to block out a turn to give myself advantage again.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, I don't play them in this matchup, but they usually, it could be indicative enough to show that that's the reason why I am losing this matchup a lot. 3 Soul Shield, of course. Yellow, does what I want.
Yep.
And I've opted to take Chimera, Tenacity, and Raging Onslaught, as these cards aren't favourable in this matchup. They just represent raw damage. Tenacity doesn't represent really anything because I want her to block. If I'm forcing her to block with 1 card, then I'm really just giving her what I don't want, which is more cards in hands. And Raging Onslaught because it's not
just damage.
It doesn't get played, it just gets pitched and blocked.
And this is kind of, when you're going up against aggro build, cards that can only be pitched aren't really what you want coming through. So, yeah. And then I always just put my copper out just to have it there, just because I don't like searching and scrambling for tokens and stuff like that, especially once you get into a competitive setting. It's very elbow to elbow in there. There's not a lot of space for you to lay stuff out either side. So I just like getting everything that I need for that game out top and just load it on from there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Alright, this is going to take me a little bit. Those cards were not mixed up at all.
You're all good.
So in this matchup, I basically want to see my Sentinels. My Sentinels are very important for giving her a very slow turn, as she actually can't swing again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm aiming to hit my Time Snap Potion early. I've got a Time Snap Potion in there, and that's probably the only one I'll sacrifice to go again with the weapon to get out. Just because on the turn that I do have to pop a Sentinel, having the Time Snap is the only way I escape just a dead turn. So, yeah, that's the goal of having that in there.
And of course, I want to see Genesis as early as possible. You know, I'll cycle out my deck and creating a Spectral Shield.
Yep.
Is advantageous.
Exactly. You're all good.
Alright. Two dice, high
Yep.
roll. So 7 and 8.
8.
I believe it's up to you.
It is up to me. I think that I want you to go first in this matchup, just to let me block out and
Create tempo.
So
Alright.
you go first.
Yep. So since I'm going first, I want to see library or some sort of Sentinel to Arsenal.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we have not. So we're just going to be swinging on with a Herald of Rebirth for 6.
6.
I don't really want to play any of my good stuff here because...
You want that for later, and I can just block stuff out?
And then I think we're just going to be arsenaling and passing.
Cool. Right. So, this is an interesting one. I'm going to do hit and run.
Yep.
Pitch 2 and come in with the Dawnblade for 3 with go again. 1 card in hand, 2 cards in hand, 1 floating, and obviously no arsenal.
So just naturally his go again.
Yep.
I think I wanna declare no defense, any reactions?
No reaction.
And then I think I'm gonna sink below.
Cool.
She either has Stroke of Foresight here or Singing Steel Blade.
I actually have one of the worst cards to have in the 2 cards that I don't want in this situation. I'm tempted to Iron Song Response here, even though it won't do anything, just because in this matchup I'm not actually anticipating a lot of block from hand.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal the route for the next turn, just because I don't want to trap Iron Song Response in my arsenal, even though I would love to have that card there.
Iron Song Response just feels seeming like a dead card in this situation. It's probably better late game, so you might as well put it at the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Because if we do get to late game and I do have to be blocking,
That is the thing,
it's
right?
a lot better there. Whereas this route just represents a raw plus 3 damage.
True. So I think in this case, yeah, I'm just routing, adding
Just routing,
damage.
Not going to arsenal it.
That's the turn, right? Is that if I think Iron Song Response, to get rid of it, I have to pitch it in this case. I don't want it in my hand for the next turn.
You can just play it, it just has no effect.
Yeah, I think that's what I end up doing, and then I arsenal the route. Just because the route is a card that I want. Yeah, especially for potentially my next turn. So I think that's my turn. Yeah, I always struggle with Iron Song Response. And
it just feels like more of a dead card in this matchup because I'm not blocking until the late game.
Exactly.
We're just going to start with a simple pitch 2
Mm-hmm.
to play Herald of Ravages for 7.
On hit effect.
1 arcane damage.
Alright, take
and
8.
Soul. So she's taking 8 and it's going to go into the soul.
Mm-hmm.
We'll then pitch an additional 3 to play Herald of Protection for 7.
And on a hit, create a spectral shield.
Yeah, and go into soul. So if there's any that she does want to block, this is probably one of them as well. It's this and Erudition. Erudition is more important, but Protection creates a damage prevention that she might be not be able to get through.
Yeah. This is tough. I'm a little bit torn on whether I take this versus not, just because I've got a difficult hand to try and work around on the next turn. If I give up 2 cards to block this, because I don't want to use all of my equipment on this card. The equipment is there for the Erudition turn. It's just torn on whether... I think I take 8 here, and you create your spectral shield.
6, 7, and then take
7.
One from the spectral.
1 from the spectral.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's my turn.
Yeah. And then on my turn, I am pitching 3 to come in with Spoils of War and Dawnblade for 5 with Go Again. On a hit, I create copper, which is why the little token is out.
So this is unfortunate. I don't really want to see this right now. I think I just have to take a damage turn.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why will be apparent next turn.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll just be no block, take 5. Or
Take 4.
Losing my spectral.
Pop the shield, yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. It has Go Again.
Cool, yes, I have 1 floating. So I'm going to think about my turn. I'm going to pay for the Braveforge Braces with the 1. And then I'm going to pitch 1 and come in with the Dawnblade again for 4.
So unfortunately, we don't really want all. Actually, I'm just doing the math. This is a little more different than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just gonna straight block 4. If she's got it, she's got it.
Cool.
She powers over, she can power over.
Nope. That was, so the card that I had was the Spoils of War, and that's going to stay in my hand. I was a little bit torn about whether I pitched that one or the response, but I think I want the Go Again on turn 2.
I considered keeping the Ravages. I do want to go aggro, but I think this turn is still good without me going aggro.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pitch 2 to create a Spectral Shield.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to pitch an additional 2 to play Library.
Cool.
And obviously I did no damage that turn, and I would have liked to arsenal the Ravages, but I'm getting to draw 5 cards here, so this is pretty good.
Yes, and this is what sucks for me, just in terms of the library being out, makes life really difficult to handle. So I think, so this is the turn where I know that Nick's at this point going to want to keep at least 2 cards to pitch, and to pitch he needs to do stuff, so he's going to want more than 2 cards to trigger the library. So I basically want to try and put pressure on now and ensure that Nick doesn't want to keep those 2 cards. So I'm going to come in here for 7. On a hit, I draw a card. I have Go Again from the Spoils of War. Nothing floating, 1 in my arsenal, and coming in for 7.
So I've actually got a lot of decisions to make. I do need to pitch 2 cards to make great use of that library, which means I probably need to attack or play something else. And I think I can handle a double turn here and then be able to turn her off the next turn. So I think I will be taking
7.
7 minus 1, so 6.
Cool.
1, 2,
I
3, 4,
draw
5, 6.
the card from Supremacy, and I'm going to pitch. So I create 2 more of those bad boys. Stillblade Supremacy sticks around, and I was very lucky on this turn to catch a blue, because that lets me come in with the Brave Forge Braces. I would have preferred in this case for this to be a yellow, because that would let me trigger the library. But
so I'm basically giving her another 6 damage here, which takes me to equal to her and gives her a counter. Which is not what I want to do, but for my turn to be productive next turn, I need to take a damage turn.
Yeah. So I drew my card off of Supremacy, and then I'm drawing up.
So we're going to pitch 2, as per usual, and we're going to play Hero of Erudition to start with. She is gonna throw armor in front of us. It's just a straight 5.
Well, this
she either
is...
lets a hit and gets blown out by being punished, or she pops it, or she takes more damage. If she pops it, she allows me to pitch and pay for library, which this still gives me.
That's an interesting point actually, because I do have the nourishing. So for me, this is a question of whether I try and pop your addition and pitch for the Phantasmal Footsteps and come in again, or whether I try and play that on my turn, because this is an interesting point where I could potentially be able to trigger the library as well, depending, but that's I think I'm going to, you're at 5, 3 cards in hand. I did see a pummel go through. I don't know how many pummels Nick is running. I believe he's running 3 yellows. So I'm very aware that that could be coming up. So I think here, I'm just going to block 5.
And
give you the opportunity to respond.
Attack reaction.
Cool.
What we will... pop Goliath Gauntlet, pitch another 2, and play Command and Conquer for 8.
For 8, okay. Now that's not what I want to see.
However, had this been this way around, I would have been displaying that I had pummel.
Yes,
very,
exactly.
Very well.
Okay. Right. I think... Goliath Gauntlet enables me to block again with equipment, correct?
Yes, it does.
Alright, cool. So I'm just going to reset this. So I don't want to block with Courage, because that would destroy Courage, but I can throw the Brave Forge Braces in front of that if I want to. So that would take it to 7, which is still theoretically a 2-card block.
Can throw a Skull Cap, which brings it back down to a 2-card block.
It's a 2-card block regardless of whether I use the Skull Cap and the Braces or not, because Brave Forge Braces gives me 2 cards up to... No, I would need to throw the Skull Cap in front of it as well, which is not ideal. I'm just questioning whether the Nourishing Emptiness is worth it to try and get that off on the next turn. Or whether I want the card that I know as an arsenal. I think I take 8 here and get rid of my arsenal card, and keep the last 2 on equipment for the next Herald if that comes up. I'm going to take 8.
That will be the illusion card. Yeah.
Yep, it's a route.
And we will arsenal our last card.
Cool. So that was a great turn for Nick.
Yeah. Drawing back up to 5.
Awesome. Alright, so on this turn I'm pitching 2. Warrior's Valor, Dawnblade for 7. On a hit, I gain go again.
I may have to take another slow turn. So what, you're at 7?
7. Yeah. So at this point, I'm
How many cards in hand?
2 in hand, no resource. I'm either stripping Nick of 3 cards, which I'm happy with, or forcing him to take damage and enable me to come in again.
I think we are pitching to play Soul Shield from hand,
Cool.
and then Fate for Seeing from Arsenal, getting to off 1, which is lovely.
Awesome. So the counter comes off the Dawnblade. That's the point where the route would have been really nice, but I think to keep it, I would have had to sacrifice too much of that hand.
Unfortunately, there are 2 cards in my hand that I would like to keep, but they came up together, so they're not ideal.
Yep.
So we're going to pitch one of them, as you can see now, and create a Spectral.
Yeah, I get you.
We're going to ping you for 1, if that's okay.
Yep, I'm going to take one.
And then we'll pitch an additional 2, which is the second one for an Erudition for 5 Dominic. This is where she throws
2.
out armor again.
I only need 1 card here, so I think I chuck out. Yeah, I think I chuck out that.
Yep, so blocking 5.
Yep.
And I keep my Spectral.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's 2 Sentinels that I won't be seeing for a long time. But I'm getting to draw 5, and it's very important.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch 2 and come in with the Dawnblade for 3 here.
So naked Dawnblade's usually scary just due to the fact that she might have glint. If she has glint, then she's representing a second attack. I don't imagine she is going to drop me past 15, which is okay. I could block. I've got multiple cards. And blocking would be ideal. But I think there are other things I could do better in my turn. We're just got to consider this hand very carefully. Yeah, I am offering no block,
No attack reaction.
no take reactions.
Take 2.
Yep.
Cool. I'm breaking the bolters, and this is potentially a bit of a risky move that my whole plan was based around Nick not blocking, because at this point I put the Dawnblade away, pull out a red hit and run, pitch another 2, and come in with Nourishing Emptiness for 9 dominated.
And you know, I said I wasn't going to get past 15. This is the point where I do get past 15.
And I trigger the library.
Yeah.
So when Nourishing Emptiness hits, theoretically,
Yep.
I'm going to be drawing up to 6.
Yeah, which is not ideal for me at all. But I think we have to take it.
Yep. 9.
Yeah, well, what can I throw out? Yeah, okay. I think...
So this is a turn that's really difficult to engineer. I would have preferred if the sharpened steel had been another yellow. I might have considered letting your addition go through,
Yeah.
but this was a hard turn to pass up on.
I think I'm taking 9.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Cool. So I'm going to draw up to 6.
Yeah. Not good for me, but
Yep. Well, it did take me the bolters
Yep.
to get to, so there's always that to consider.
I have turned off her skull cap as well, and
6.
she has 1 armor to block.
3. Correct.
And I want library for myself, so I might have to make it.
It is an action to destroy the library, correct?
Yes.
And it has go again?
Yes, you have to do it in your turn.
Cool.
So we're gonna pitch a yellow for 2. We're gonna play Hero Triumph for 5.
Okay, so no on hit effect. Does it go into
It
soul?
just goes into soul, and your attacks have -1.
Cool.
Defend.
No block.
I am gonna attack react.
Cool. Pummel.
Yes, pummel.
For adding 3,
Yeah,
so
turn
taking
into
8.
and discard a card.
Cool. I'm going to be discarding. I'm popping. Yeah. Yellow Valor.
Okay. I think at this point I'm gonna pop Hardened Cross Track.
Gain 2 resource.
Yeah, and play. Well, actually, I don't get 2 resources. It just makes it cost 2 less.
Sure.
And play Protection for 5. I want her to block. If she doesn't block, I'm creating a Spectral Shield and bridging the gap a little bit more, which is what I want.
Okay. And it will have go again, so there'll be a Spectral Shield pinging me for 1 on the end.
So if you don't block, you're definitely going down to 1.
Yeah. I think I'm just debating my turn because I want to play. I think I play. I want to guarantee that, so I'm going to do it that way. I've got a tough hand to kind of play out here in terms of I drew 5 yellows in my draw up, but I theoretically also have good condition for a win. So I think I'm going to block 1 here and take 4.
Yep. Creating a Spectral,
Yeah.
and the Spectral will come for 1.
And then I'll block out the 1 with the skull cap.
Yep.
And stay on 3. Alright.
So once again, pitch 2 yellows, so I will be drawing 5 cards.
Correct. I'm going to break Courage of Bladehold. I'm going to play Iron Song Determination. Pitch 2 to play. Well, you've got 5 cards.
Yep.
Hit and run. Dawnblade for 4, dominated with go again.
2 cards in hand.
2 cards in hand. 1 resource floating.
So I have an interesting choice in hand. I think my best option is to just plot 3 and prevent 1, which is 4. So she does have to. Well, she doesn't. It's got to go again, but she does have to give it a +3 if she wants to attack with the weapon again. And twinning will do that, which is okay.
Yeah.
So she still has 1 resource as well, and she.
Correct. And I popped the Spectral Shield.
Yep. Spectral dies.
As well. So unfortunately I can't come in with the Brave Forge Braces, just because I didn't hit.
Yep.
But I will be using that 1 resource to play Warrior's Valor and coming in for 7. On a hit, go again, dominated.
Yep. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to block all I want, but that is okay. I think just blocking 4 is okay here.
Taking 3?
Yeah. I'll look at the top card of my deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually don't want to see that. So 1, 2, 3.
Cool. And then I'm going to be coming in again for 4, dominated.
So we're not going to block it the third time. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I gain a counter
Yep.
on this turn.
So at this stage, the counter is important to her, but it's also probably not. The life values are in play where she will have to start blocking. She's got no armor to block.
Correct.
And I think I chose my hand right. So luckily I drew a Celestial Cataclysm, which means I already only need 1 less card in my hand out of the 5 that I already had.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I can attack for 7 with Go again by banishing 3.
Cool. Cool. I'm going to be blocking 6, taking 1.
Yep. And then my next card should demand basically both her cards as well, which is command for 6.
And this is the point where the time snap kills me.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Card that can't block, no armor left, and that is game. Yeah? That was much closer than our last games. I think
me getting to keep the library for most of the game is
Yeah.
a deciding factor in that. I would not be drawing up to 5 this turn, but I deemed that
worth
a
it.
3 card hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's tough at that point in the game. Just going down to 3 and then not hitting a sigil makes it difficult for me. Also the fact that when you managed to get out the library, I did have a couple of hands where I couldn't trigger it, and then by the point that I had enough that I could destroy it,
I think destroying it is always better long run
than triggering it. Yeah, that's the
because
thing.
my deck makes more use out of it than yours.
Yeah, because I was torn on the turn where I managed to trigger the +1 intellect. If I had discarded my yellows, I basically wouldn't have had a turn.
Yeah.
Like it would be Dawnblade for 3 and that's it, which is fine. But
You could have gone Nourishing, right? Or could you
nah,
have
because
not?
I had a red. It was red, nourishing, and 2 yellows.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit torn on what to go for. I bet that leaving the library in turn in play would be fine, but turned out that was just not good for me at that point. So
I think my defense reactions made a huge
the
difference.
defense reactions really changed the game. Yeah.
Like that sink below that turn, that helped
Yeah.
me a lot.
100%.
The Fate Basine with the Soul Shield helped a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that last Fate Basine actually saved my life. Without that Fate Basine, I'm pretty sure
I think
was
that's
dead.
gone. Yeah. Yeah, because I was a little bit torn on the order of that Twinning Blade turn, whether I go for the Warrior's Valor to start, but I wanted the guaranteed go again, just in case you had like a soul shield, because that plus the shields would take you up to 7, and that's exactly over. Don't have an attack reaction, no guaranteed go again, kills it. So yeah, I was kind of debating whether it was worth putting the hit and run first and losing out on the +2, but
I did consider taking another 4 and keeping this as my hand and just doing this, but
yeah,
I think, like, if you do get another turn, then I punish myself by not.
I think you do. Yeah,
By not just doing this and losing these 2 cards.
yeah, I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
late game when I have Soul, probably the 3 best cards
So,
to see.
yeah,
Well,
that's-
just these 2
yeah.
and a yellow.
Yeah, definitely makes it difficult at that point. Like ending up at 3 and then not hitting a sigil was rough.
Yeah.
If I'd had a defense reaction for the Cataclysm, might have been okay, but that's still 2 cards to block and time snap in play. So
Yeah, you could have got away with pitching the time snap and then playing
exactly.
2
Yeah.
cards to stop this.
Yeah. But It's all right. Them's the breaks, and it was a good game. So Aggro Prism can win against Warrior.
Can win against Warrior. This is so far has been my toughest matchup. I haven't actually played against a Rhino yet, but I know that's an instant loss. But I thought Bravo was very hard, and it turns out that Bravo isn't as difficult as this matchup for me.
Yeah. No, I think Warrior's just an interesting thing where the ability to go tall counters with the phenomenal equipment to block out the Erudition turn. That's basically the one turn that I want to block out with equipment. The fact that you were able to pair that with a CNC was really unfortunate. That made it a very, very good turn. But no, that's when you draw well, and you drew very well today. Played very well as well. So hope you guys had a good time watching. We had a good time playing, so
always enjoy playing against you all.
Thank you. And looking forward to more of this coming up. Road to Nat season as decks get refined and tried and tested and played and tried again. So,
Thank you guys. This has been an Outer War +1 episode. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys next time.